I action something and then go, okay, did that work? Can I make it better? Well, no, that's useless. I'm not going to do that. So a lot of things I do, and I tried in 2019 just to see if there was any traffic, just to see if I could gain any traction on it. And then you go back and make it good.
Welcome to the From Within podcast with Ben Osterveld. Why don't you introduce yourself, guys? This is a little bit different than just a podcast or anything like that. This is legitimately, these people in this room mean a ton to me. We've been working together on a one-to-one scale. Everyone in this room has been on a retreat. The retreat is a personal growth retreat. We believe that the business is only as good as the person running it. And we're extremely focused on that, but we're also about blowing the client's mind, keeping them forever. We love that conversation, putting in systems that kind of make us better. So why don't we go around the room, tell kind of who you are, where you're at, and maybe something that Steve wouldn't know about you. James, I'll call you out because you guys aren't. Yeah, go ahead, James.
Okay, I'm James Bramer. I'm in Spruce Grove, and I used to play a really high level of baseball.
And you run a real estate business. This is pretty much a real estate mastermind in this one. So that's pretty much what everyone can say. Gary.
All right.
Yeah, Gary Free out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. You know, beautiful big country here. And I farmed for 40 years before I became a realtor. And yeah, I have some motorcycles too.
I like you already.
Actually, you guys would get along with the cars, no question. Dina. Let's get you on unmute. Just 1 second. There, now. Oh, sorry, we both pushed it at the same time. Why is it not working?
Yeah. Sorry, there we go.
You're good.
Did you guys get that?
No, you got to do it again.
No. So I'm from Beaumont, just outside of Edmonton, and I'm a wonderful person, and I became a grandma this year, or last year.
Nice. Steve, are you a grandpa yet?
I'm not a grandpa, no. I just look like one.
For sure. But anyways, I don't know. Jen. Oh.
Nope.
It's kind of sketchy. Okay. Jen is a supermodel. She goes all over the world. She's very, very shy about it. And you'd never know. She started a real estate career from being a supermodel. And, you know, she doesn't really do it on Instagram. She thinks that's too small for her. So that's Jen. We'll move on to Koken.
Hey, I live in St. Catharines near Niagara Falls, Ontario. Something about me. I don't know.
But where's the name from?
It's okay. So my dad's Sri Lankan and my mom's Japanese.
Cool.
The name's originally Japanese. Yeah.
There you go. That's something interesting. You didn't have to search too far, did you? All right.
Eric, are you there?
Eric's on mute.
Let me try this again. Eric, you there?
All right, can you hear me?
There he is. Eric's
Cool.
a character.
I think I should remain anonymous and a little bit secret for Steve, because maybe one day he'll want to meet me.
Eric's our entertainment on our retreats.
All right, good. If you look, he can serve the whiskey and I'm there.
Sounds good. Done deal.
Yeah, he is, and he will be. Tyler.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Tyler. Real estate business in Edmonton, Alberta. And I got my daughter in the background watching Paw Patrol, but hopefully through osmosis, she'll learn a little something from this too.
Nice, man. Nice. And you weren't you a high-end lacrosse player at one point?
For a while, yeah.
I knew you wouldn't say that, so I thought I'd try something there. Okay, ready? Josh. Last one so far. Yeah.
Okay. I just got on the call here. Josh here.
So
What are we
something
supposed to
Steve wouldn't know about you.
Oh, lots of stuff.
Well, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
obvious, Josh.
What do you want to know?
Something that would be way cooler
Something
than just
that's
saying,
interesting. You're in
Yeah.
a party. You're trying
Here we
to
go.
you're trying to tell someone something interesting about you in about 2 seconds. What would it be?
Oh, I usually tell them about my Colombia trip. That usually is a good.
Tell us
Good
in
starter.
10 words about your Colombia trip.
Have you ever done ayahuasca?
No.
And there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I've got a bunch of friends. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so I asked Steve, he generously came on to jump in and share. I just wanted to bring you guys, I like Steve. I like who he is as a human being. We've become friends over the last couple of years, being on the podcast, to being in jail with him. And honestly, there's just something about the guy, to be honest. And I don't, as this group knows, I don't just bring anyone into the group. It's not like who's next in the group. And I think I've had Philip, and I've had Kelsey Grant, the relationship specialist, and so Steve, it's great to have you. And I just think I'd love for you to share your backstory. You're an interesting guy, and I think then I want you guys as a group to take this chance to write down and maybe plan out some questions or anything when it comes to relationships, landing clients, when it comes to.
Froze.
Oh, we're froze?
No,
Am
you froze for a second, but you're
Okay,
back
we're
now.
good.
Yeah.
You just wanted to hear that again, didn't you?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. As many nice things about me as
Yeah.
possible. I'm all for.
So Steve has a way of connecting with people that's very, very cool. He has a way of connecting with the right people. He does things. He doesn't see the world in a way where there's limitations. He just thinks how, and that there's always a possibility. I think mindset is definitely there for that. I think a lot of us can learn from his energy. So why don't you share a little bit, Steve, to the group, your backstory, where you come from, you know, how you were given the silver spoon, and let's begin there.
Right. Yeah. All right. Just with a show of hands, does anyone know who I am and what I do? Okay. So we got 2 ladies and one. Okay. So we've got a few people here, and the others have hidden the video, so we can't tell. I think my greatest gift was ignorance. We've got a lot of kids now. I've got kids. I've got 3 of them, and I like 2 of them. But we've got these kids that are constantly on iPhones that within a heartbeat can tell you every designer of sneakers. You know, my kid will walk through Beverly Hills and he'd be like, Dad, that backpack, that's $14,000 or something. You know, because they look at all of this stuff now on Instagram. There's too much information. I didn't have that as a kid. You know, I was an 80s child. I grew up thinking, well, as a son of a bricklayer, I don't want to be a bricklayer because I'm getting wet. I'm getting crap pay. You know, there's got to be something better for me, but I didn't know what it was. Luckily, because I wasn't consumed or didn't have the ability to get that kind of information of the Insta gurus that we see now, I went out and tried to find it myself. The reason, and this is hopefully the only boast I'll have, the reason I'm so successful, well, that's a very elusive word. The reason I'm sitting here up in a house I own in Los Angeles, in a garage full of motorcycles, traveling the planet, is because I failed and fucked up probably 30 million times more than you guys. That's the only reason. And it's never scared me. The downside is today, more people are actually frightened to be seen to fail than to actually fail. And the most successful people, you know, the Elon Musks of this planet, do not give a crap what you think of them when they're failing, because they're going for the greater good. They're going for the bigger idea. And I noticed that there is a correlation between really successful people that don't care about the naysayers and the village idiots. They focus on what they're doing and the production and letting that talk for itself. And in a world of Insta gurus where people are leaning up against cars they don't own and going, hey, do you want to look at me because I know how to make $1 million when they can't even afford a freaking bus ticket, I look at the people that have got substance. And Ben, I'm very appreciative by you saying that I do things differently. I actually don't. I do things, and there's a couple of us on the screens I can see that are pre-internet. And when it was pre-internet, when you wanted to communicate with someone, you did this stupid thing called phoning them up, or you sat down with them face to face, or you wrote a letter, or you sent a fax. Now, since 1999, we've been bombarded with so many platforms in which to communicate that I have conversations with people now, and I try to stop it. They won't email me. They'll just send me a tweet, or they'll send me a Facebook message, or they'll send me a text. We got too many platforms to communicate on now. That some of them get overlooked, get diluted, get forgotten. And I've actually had people yelling at me going, well, I tweeted you 6 months ago and you didn't respond. And it's given us a situation where it's harder for people to communicate. And when it gets harder to communicate, sadly, a lot of people take the wrong choice and stop communicating. So what I've done is I communicate like it was the 80s. Simple as that. Phone call, face-to-face, letter. Most people don't have a fax machine, but a lot of people have an e-fax, okay? I focus on those elements of getting through the most impactful, because email, Twitters, and all that kind of stuff are your weakest form of communication. And just because you think you can send out an email blast to 5,000 people, you're not actually reaching 5,000 people. You're reaching all of these spam guards and these filters, and that message isn't getting through. So with me, I'm a rough kid from East London that decided to do things a bit differently, but actually ended up finding out that I'm doing things exactly like they did in the 80s. And guess what? It works.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think that's why we get along so well. It just, I had an old school dad in the 70s that was a salesman. And he always talked about, you know, if you ask enough people for business, you just start meeting people, you'll be the top of the game. And it's just so, if you could learn the art of human connection and communication, I do believe you're right, man. Like there's so many different ways to hide behind. You don't know the feeling behind any of those texts and everything. I know you use a lot of video communication, right? So you're kind of are using the technology. I think you're bringing the 80s into the video in a way, right? Do you do?
Yeah, I use technology, and we all should, to amplify you, not replace you. And there's too many people that go, well, I need a ClickFunnels sequence. I need an Infusionsoft flow. I need a ManyChat sequence on my. No, you don't. All of those things are being used to replace you. You need to use those to amplify your message, which will bring people to the final point, which is you. And you mentioned it very, very well. There's a thing out there, which is what we're losing out on today, called tonality, okay? And tonality is very, very hard to put that into any written format. So when you send a text, when you send an email, any of those messages, even on Facebook message, people can read it in different ways. Depending on the mood you're in, you may have won the lottery. Everything I send you, you're going to be happy about. You may find that your girlfriend's just left you. Everything I send you, you're going to be pissed off about. The bottom line of it is, if it's just text, I'm leaving it far too open for you of how you're going to receive it and consume it. That can't happen with tonality. Now, if you just, listen, for argument's sake, of the way that this has been conversed and just the way you raise your voice when something's a bit more exciting, that's tonality. An audio text and a video text are very, very, very hard to be confused by. If I say to you, if I send you a text and I say to you, tomorrow night, beer, 7 p.m., if you've lost your job, you're going to go, well, that's very demanding. Oh, what does he want? Oh, is he on bad times? Does he need money? There's all of these things that are going through your head. But if I send you an audio text, I phone you up, or I send you a video text going, Ben, been too long. Tomorrow, beer, 7 p.m. You've got there's your response. You giggled. Why? Because I had all the enthusiasm in there that cannot be put into a text format. So I use technology, and I use a lot of it. I'm constantly trying different technology. I now have a TikTok account as of about 4 days ago. But I try to find technology to amplify me rather than replace me. And that's the key mistake everyone makes.
So there's some content for your website, your business cards. I love that, man. That's a talk or something. Amplify you, not replace you. That is That's genius. It's so simple. I love that. That's
Well, how many
that's a
people,
takeaway.
let's help people now. And I've only got a few people that I can actually see videos here, but how many of you out there have business cards? All right, so pretty much everyone has business cards. How many of you have a QR code on them? All right, so this is what you should do. This is the first tip of the day. All right, and we're going to make Eric buy me whiskey for giving you all these wonderful nuggets. You should get your you go on to QR code creator or free QR code, and you can actually design QR codes. Okay. Excuse me, I've turned my phone off, so I can't show you mine, but I have about 5 different QR codes, and any printed material, never on the internet, because most people look at the internet on their phone, and it's hard to read a QR code when you're looking at it on your phone. But any business card, any letter, any postcard, have a QR code on there and say something like, get techie and hold your phone over this code for an important video, and do a video of yourself introducing yourself, stick it up on YouTube, and have that QR code linked to that YouTube. And they hover over it, and straight away it pops up, and it's like, hey, how you doing? My name's Eric, and I wanted to tell you that I've been in, and you give a little bio. You know, people don't use it. When people get home and they've been out looking for properties, and there's no one stupid enough out there to think that you're the only person they're talking to. But the first time they meet you and they've got that business card, and then they've gone on a business trip, and they come home, and on that desk is that business card. If you have failed to leave a lasting impression on that person, purely and simply because they're very busy, because you don't know what happened, they could get in the car and have an argument with the wife and they forgot you, or triggered you with a negative reaction because they look at you and they go, oh, that was that house. Oh, that's when I got into the argument with the wife. But if you actually put a QR code on there, it gives them the chance to see, hear, and relate to you. And what did it cost you? YouTube is free. QR code creator, free. That's technology for you to get your voice and face in front of somebody. QR code creator. There was a time when QR codes required a QR code reader. Not anymore. You hover your phone over it and it pops it up and sends your phone, without being asked, directly to that link.
Yeah, you know what? It's cool. It's an amazing idea. I love it. I love it. And what we call here is that's a converting mechanism. It's like every single thing we always say, every marketing we ever do needs to have a converting mechanism, or else it's just branding. If you might as well just buy a big billboard, right? And hope someone calls you. But giving them that converting mechanism. So what you're saying aligns completely with what we've been doing. It's like whenever you choose any marketing, what's your converting mechanism? Like what actually causes them to convert? And that's a QR code. That's great. I didn't know that you could hover over it now. Like, because the reason why I didn't ever use those is because I had to get an app.
Nope. So the iPhones, all iPhones after like Series 7.
Serious?
You can just hover the thing over there and it'll just pop that bad boy up.
That's really cool, because that was my objection, right? Because it's like, if no one has the app, that's why I never used it.
Yeah.
I'm behind.
No, the old QR codes were like that. But now they're all over the place. And so I'm just trying to get one of mine up. But that QR code, again, never post it on your Facebook page. Never post it on Instagram, because most people look at it on their phone and they will get aggravated that they can't do anything about it. They won't go home and go, oh, I wish I could do that. They just won't do it. They will just find it aggravating, and you don't want to aggravate your clients.
Yeah. It's amazing. I used to have a tear off free cookie when I was doing real estate marketing in the area. I partnered with a local cookie company, and I said, I want you to give me free cookies. I said, I'm going to put your logo on every single house out there every single time I show a house. And I'd be the only guy with a tear off with a free cookie. So I'd send them back. So I would actually send them back to her business versus always being about me. I'm always thinking, if I help other people, my business is going to work.
And that is the total thing. It absolutely will. If you can provide value, then it reciprocates without a doubt. Show value to everybody.
So I got a question here from James. He says, can you put that QR code on a sign?
Can you see that? That one's even got my little face in it.
That's beautiful, man. I'm
Can
gonna be
you see?
checking this out. I didn't know it had evolved. I thought it was.
Yeah, it has. And I will literally
Amazing.
send that to someone. I don't know. Can anyone hover their phone on that? I don't know if it'll pick up.
Let me go big
just to
screen
see how
for you.
robust it is.
Okay, I'm gonna try here. So just phone. Look at this. Boom.
See? Now that, put it this way. Now, I wasn't doing that to get you on my website because he's already on it. But if it's that robust for you to be able to see through a low resolution camera on a Zoom call and it still directs you, then when it's on your, when it's on letterhead, it's crystal clear. So it works.
Does it work for Samsung as well?
Don't know. I can't. Well, funny enough, Samsung actually has better technology than Apple because, you know, they used to make the apples. So I wouldn't believe that it doesn't.
Yeah, I love that idea. And it adds a converting mechanism. I'm going to play with that too. I think that's just scan it and then send it to wherever. So I like the idea of it a lot. I like the idea.
It's a really good thing.
I like the idea. Could you send it as a text? No, right? Because you'd need to hover over it.
You can't send it as a text because you're going to be receiving it on your phone.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I say don't put it on Facebook or any kind of social platforms because most people check their social on their phone.
Yeah.
And they'll be aggravated with it. So it's got to be on flyers, on any printed material. It's got to be on there. But if you're using business cards, it needs to be on your business card.
Do you know what would be great too?
Have some fun with it.
What you could do is like, I'm not a big fan of especially in real estate. Like you have a logo of which is your head, so there's the difference. And you're a mystery in some level. And who's this guy? I get that. Real estate agents are way too much slapping their face on absolutely everything, right? It's not a surprise anymore. And they send you a card that says, "Hey, here's my face, exactly what you wanted. You're gonna put that on yourself." So I'm a big believer in just a white card with a handwritten note. And so the thing is, though, you could literally just have a QR code and a white card, like nothing on it, just the white card and then the QR code. Could you create a special QR code for a very specific birthday?
Yeah, you could.
You know what I mean?
The beautiful thing about the QR codes is the QR codes are now, because they're free, as I say, I have 5 of them. So, and I've got, in 2 weeks' time, I start 3 back-to-back gigs, okay? I don't have it yet because I haven't seen which one, but my son, who's 15 years old, has knocked me up 3 QR codes. And then what we've done is we've linked them to a different page. One of them is to a specific landing page going, "Hey, I was thrilled to see you in Palm Springs. I haven't done the video yet, but I'm going to be doing a video going, hey, I was thrilled to see you in Palm Springs and I want to be talking with you." And I'll do the video. And that's so great. When they get their flyer, they're going to have that QR code. And we joke about it. We say, "Hey, get techie and hover your phone over this." Now, bearing in mind, someone just said that they tried the Samsung and it didn't work. Not everything that we do works, but it'll work for some people. Now, let me say, for argument's sake, let me say that QR code only works for people with an iPhone. If you're speaking at an event and you only grab the people with the iPhone, then by default, you probably still grab 60% of that audience. But by you turning around,
add a text on the screen too, text or scan, like it's an easy solution.
So I'm going to give you a text in a minute. Now, if you text the word, and you're going to write this down, SIMS, SIMS, text that word to 33777. So what I do is when I go on stage, before I go on stage, I have this number and a word, okay? And if I'm in Palm Springs, it may be Sims PS. If I'm in Vegas, it may be LV Love. It can be anything, okay? You can make it up and they will text that number. But before I go on stage, there's that text up there. And the first thing, before I've got on stage, it says, "For more of Steve Sims, text the word Sims to 33777. Before I've got on stage. And then when I get on stage, I go, "Hey, you're going to be wanting to take notes here. And I don't want to say you shouldn't, But if you text that number, I'm going to send you this presentation in any case. So get your eyeballs up here. Let's get smarter. And then during the program, and you'll end up picking up half of the crowd. And I'm not bullshitting about these statistics. People love trying new stuff, okay? So you'll get half of the crowd on that textaful. And then what will happen is during the presentation, you know, you haven't got that number up there anymore. So they kind of missed out on it a bit. But then what you do, and they go, oh, the QR codes. For any of you that haven't tried this, try, and you throw a QR code up on the screen. Yeah. And I'm giving you value, but guess what people are doing? They're stood there going, oh, look at that QR code. And then they're jumping into my Facebook page. By the end of the day, you get so much information by doing that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it's sales first, branding second in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most guys start with, especially in the agent world and even a lot of businesses, brand, and hope someone comes to them without having this. So that's where, we think a lot alike that way, sales first. So let me ask you a question here. Let's talk about relationships for a second, because I think you manage relationships in a very practical, easy way, and you don't overcomplicate it. Well, for what I know anyways. But the thing is, how do you manage a good relationship versus a bad relationship?
I have no bad relationships.
Yeah, why?
And that's because I get rid of them.
Yeah.
Any relationship, how many of you have spoken to people that they're interested in buying a house, but they're a pain in the fucking ass and you don't like them? And yeah, we all have. We absolutely, every single one of us have had clients that we don't like. And it saps the energy out of you, doesn't it? Because you then start going, well, what I meant was, oh, no, you're right there. I get what you're saying. And you're trying to control an uncontrollable situation because there's no relationship between you and the buyer, okay? And what tends to happen is all the time that you're trying to keep that relationship because you're chasing the checkbook and not the relationship, this is what happens. You come away from that conversation tired. It's like you've been wrestling a bull. And then someone that you do like, or a new relationship that you're starting to build up, contacts you. And how many of you have ever had a bad conversation on the phone and then a loved one or a friend contacts you and you snap at them? Okay?
I've never.
Yeah, bullshit. So, you know, someone phones up and you go, oh, what is it? You know, because you're all pent up from the conversation beforehand that you buy the ones that love you. And if they love you, and my wife did it to me a long time ago, and what kind of changed my mentality, she'd be like, whoa, I don't deserve that. And you're like, you know, you're right. Yeah. It wasn't you. It was the person before you. And that shit is cancer. It will bleed into your life. And then what will happen is you'll start handling everyone else like the bad client. And so what I did was I got rid of them. If I can't relate to you, and this works well, hey, I understand what you're trying to do, but I don't think that we're going to be able to do it best together. I'm going to get someone for you that can. And then I would go to someone else and I'd go, right, I'm going to make an introduction to you, but I want 25% of the deal. And they'll be like, hell yeah, I'll take that. Great, good. Hey, John, I want to make this introduction. I believe everyone's going to be able to relate to each other. I believe there's some points that we're not gelling on, but I think Robert's going to do the best job for you, okay? So if you trust my instinct on this, he's going to look after you. And you pass it off. A good relationship is one with low effort. How much effort does it take to go out with your buddies on a Friday night and have a glass of wine? It takes no effort, does it? Because you get on with them, you relate, you gel, you communicate, you converse, you're connected. So what I make sure is that every relationship I have, if I find that there's any kind of friction there, I get rid of them because I know full well that's going to turn into a cancerous tumor and it's going to come into the rest of my business. And as we all know, cancer can't be removed by taking a tablet or rubbing some cream on it. That bitch has to be cut out and thrown away.
I love your point, a couple here. I love that. I just wrote down chasing the relationship, not the checkbook. Like if we can really connect with that, and then good relationships are low effort. Like I love that. It's such a, that's what I mean by the way you see things is so practical. I love that. Guys, I just want to
just on one point, just to extend on that.
Sure.
I'm not very good at playing chess. You know, the way I work on anything is I race motorcycles, so I'm on a 3-corner strategy. I don't look anything further than the second or third corner that I'm going to hit into as I come into the first. I'm not a 12-step person. But here's the key. When you're talking to a client, build a relationship. Why? Because when that guy or that girl sinks $500,000 into a property, $2 million, $5 million, do you not think that they have a good advocate to be a referral for you?
Hello. Yeah.
So focus on your clients to be your front line of marketing. There are a lot of people. I'm a referral business. My concierge firm has no email subscription, no phone number, no fax, no way of contacting me. Okay? Because it's my clients to introduce to me clients that they feel would benefit from the service that we provide. When you sell something to your client, you want to go back to them and go, hey, Jack, how you doing? I hope you love the home. How's it doing? How's your life in that new property? Are you enjoying the neighborhood? Hey, I want to ask you a question. And this is important shit, so take a note of this. I want to ask you a question. What did I do wrong? Now, if you remember right at the beginning of this conversation, I said to you that I looked at what I did wrong for 2019, okay? Because if I say to you, hey, if at the end of this seminar, for argument's sake, I turned around and go, hey, did you have a good time? You're all going to be nice because most of you look like nice people and you're going to go, yeah, it was great. It was lovely. It was wonderful. But instead of asking that question, if I turned around to you and I said, hey, what did I do wrong? What did you need that wasn't there? You start thinking differently. And it may have been, well, I could have done with that QR code link, you know, could you share that with us? But it gets your brain into a different point. If you've done a good job with your client's going to say something along the lines of, you did a great job, Ben. You know, the neighborhood's brilliant. The house is brilliant. You took all the stress and strain away from it. You did a fantastic job. And then you can turn around and say, well, I'm thrilled. You're happy. But what 10 people do you think should know that? And that's when you get your referral business. Totally. So that relationship, now that the arsehole that you're chasing the checkbook for is never going to give you that because they're a prick. So focus on the relationships, not on the checkbook, because you're focusing not just on that sale, but on the next 10 sales you get from the referrals they give you.
Yeah, you line exactly up, man. Like this is totally the flavor, man. It's great to hear. I always say one client is 10 people. And if we don't treat them that way, they're always 10 people. Like you can't, like unless you're just one of those like front loaded sales guys and you want to sell your heart out and burn out like crazy and just close deals constantly and never have a life. And like, you're just deal junkies. You'll never have a long game. Like you said, tired is like the middle name for those guys. And I think sometimes they say, am I wasting time with this client? I said, look, are they good people? Are they big fans of yours? Here's the thing. If they're only buying an $89,000 condo. And I'm like, and what's your point? Why don't you treat them like they're buying a $10 million house and let's see who they know. Let's see what happens. Like if we can just shift our mentality to the 10-year game, and then you just never will have to sell again. Like the hard is selling, meeting someone, going through that process takes a long time. Like me and you've got to know each other. It takes a long time to get to know each other. You don't just be like, hey, so why do you want to do that all the time? You know, like it's a lot of work. So I love it. We're on the same page when it comes to that, man. Just it's all referrals, guys. I want to give you guys a chance to add some context and maybe pick. It sounds painful, but pick Steve's brain. And if anyone has any comments, like smart ass remarks, fully welcome. Anything like that's good. But want to make sure you guys have a chance to, you know, get a little something in your world.
I got a little story for you quickly. I had a client in Chicago that contacted me because they needed these seats at a local venue. I forget what the actual stadium was in Chicago, but they wanted these 2 seats and they were very specific on the exact seats. And they were like, can you get them? And I contacted them back and I went, these seats, you know, for like a baseball game are like $23 and they're still available if you just go through Ticketmaster. So there's no markup on it or anything. But if you buy the seats with this package, which includes parking and like hospitality, it moves it up to like $80 per person. And I informed them of where they could go and get it. And so I made no money out of it whatsoever. And they came back to me about a month later and I said, oh, are you getting ready for the game? And they said, we don't want the game. And I said, well, did you buy the tickets? And they said, we weren't buying the tickets. We were trying to find out what you were like. And I was like, okay, then fine. What do you want to do? No bullshit. They wanted to rent the entire stadium for a private party. So I went from talking to them about $90 to, I think that was something like, it was around about $500,000 by the end of it. I went from that to that. So focus on every single one of the people that you're dealing with as the person and what potentially could happen. Because I've bought shitty, cheap bikes and I bought expensive bikes, but I actually use the same people for both.
Exactly. So good. We got a question here. Eric figures. He wants to know what your favorite whiskey is.
I'm a big fan of the Japanese whiskey. If it's the American, then I tend to go for like Four Roses, or I just love a good Bullet bourbon.
What is it's definitely the right room to be asking. Eric's probably friggin' buying it right now, sending it to you. I blew it for you, Eric. You got to step up your game, buddy. Whiskey's too easy. Give him whiskey, but you gotta do something worth talking about. Whiskey, I bet you gets whiskey all the time. Think about it.
I do get a lot of whiskey.
I know. If you're gonna do something, do something different. Anyways, guys, got any questions here regarding business situation, your life, relationships? Eric, he pushed a button. He has no clue what he's doing. What's this button here? I have no clue what that looks like. But anyways, so anything, guys, I want to open the floor here before we just keep rocking and rolling without giving you guys a chance to jump in.
I have a question. So what you said actually hit home to me. There's a guy I'm working with. He's bought 3 homes with me last year. He can potentially buy 5 more homes this year, but he's just like, every conversation I have with him just drains me. So like I was almost thinking exactly what you said, like after some of our calls, where like, do I want to keep working with this person? And what other opportunities am I losing by continuing to work with him because I'm not at 100%?
Yeah.
Like, where would you sort of balance?
So you've got to balance your life, because you don't get yesterday back. So you've got to, the 2 things I would ask yourself, and you've already answered it. You've got to get rid of him for one. Okay. Because what happens is you're feeling so dejected and drained after the call that you don't have the positivity to go out and get new clients. Okay. Because there's like this reset period. It's like having a boxing match for 3 minutes. And then you've kind of like you got to spend a couple of days to get over the bruising. In the situation you've got, that person is anchoring you to negativity. Every time you're going to make a phone call with him, you're pissed off before you've even made the phone call with him, because you know he's going to be an arse. You know he's going to be a drain. But as I say, you're chasing the checkbook. Find someone that you trust, come up with a deal, hit them for a 40% markup for a start, and then settle at 25%. Getting 25% for having no hassle, no crap, and no involvement is a beautiful, sweet ass deal. And then you'll be happier.
Would you take that deal even if you couldn't get anything out of it?
Well, you are getting something out of it. You're getting time. I've noticed that the second you see, when you're working with clients, when they're easygoing clients and they're good relationships, you can have 20 conversations in a day and you're not tired. But when you've got 2 arse wipes as clients, you only have those 2 calls because you're dejected and you avoid call. When you've had a bad phone call, the first thing you do is avoid making any further phone calls. So you're actually losing out on that momentum. Get rid of anyone that's bad. The beginning of December, I phoned up every single one of my concierge clients. It worked out to be about 100, under 200, like 193, 189, something like that. I phoned up every single one of those clients throughout this 5-day period. Okay. And I just said, hey, I personally just wanted to say, be safe. People drink too much on the New Year's Eve. And I wanted you to be safe because we've got a lot to do in 2020. And I phoned up every single one of those clients of mine and I had a conversation with them. And my kids came up and they went, "You've made 200 phone calls." It didn't feel like that. I phoned 200 friends. I had 200 smiles. I learned some really perverse, dirty jokes from half of my clients. So I had fun chatting with these people. Now, if there had been one arsehole in that group, it would have slowed down my momentum for the others. So, and I came out with a load more business. So the bottom line of it is, if it takes energy, if it takes effort, if it takes control in you, then get rid of it. And if you make no money on it, you've already sold 3 houses. He may buy another 5, but who cares? Sell 5 houses to people you can get on with, that you can go and have drinks with, and you can get referrals out of.
So I'll give you, I'm with you like 1,000% on everything you're saying. I'd like to offer one perspective to add to this in more of a relationship thing. Like, I'm all about cutting people out. Like, I'm 100%, I'm with you 100%. But sometimes there's one step before you can cut them out as a human development opportunity. And what that is to be honest with him. To sit down and be dead honest with him, because there may be a chance he becomes one of the best clients you've ever had in your life, because nobody's honest. Nobody does it. Cutting it out's easy, and it is the way. I think it's the best advice, hands down. But imagine this. Hey, Mr. Client, I know that you've bought in 3 houses from me. It makes me feel like I just want to keep working with you, because obviously that makes me money. And the thing is, I'm feeling a little drained being together. Or like, come up with a real honest conversation. Where you're like, I'm not sure if it's me. I'm not sure if it's you. But can I ask you, do you feel the same way when you're with me? He go, what the hell are you talking about? Then what happens is he has a choice to say, I like cocaine. I didn't realize I was driving him down. Maybe I'll correct my behavior. And now if he doesn't, see you later. I think the honest conversation could really potentially, because I think the tough ones that convert become the lifelong big referral people, or they're just a waste of time. But then at least, give a human being a chance. That's just my thinking.
No, it's good. I would mirror that. I think that's fantastic. Call them out, because most people aren't honest. You're right.
I think they'll respect you so deeply. Like you get it, man. Like, oh, Steve Sims. Oh, I'm sure you get it all the time. And it's just like to have someone to be real and honest, I think is such a, I value you. I value this relationship. Like, it just feels like it goes to another level. And I think this group definitely has that ability to be honest. And we've done it with our personal relationships to make them better. But I think that step between cutting and just, even if the guy's a total dick, is that you had the opportunity to grow yourself as a human being and get better at relationships. So.
Yep.
Any other questions, Scott? I know Josh had to run there, so he's out. That's what this message is. Had to go. Anyone else have any questions here? Or if not, I can get some questions going for real. Jen. Oh yeah, you can't. You can type. You got this weird alien sound on your screen. So if you have a question, you have to type that up. So, James. I knew it.
No, I can go back to what we were just talking about. I just listed a house, Ben Loads. I sat down and we had the exact same conversation that you were talking with for Koken. Ben sat there and put himself in a really, really uncomfortable position. The guy looked at him and said, hey man, I felt it was you, and he felt it was him. And they had that conversation, and it was great.
Like, you're saying that they got honest, cleared the air, and realized it was just this weird, awkward feeling they had each other. And then what happened?
And then I listed it, but I mean, but that's exactly what happened. It's the 25%. And from the person on the receiving end, Koken, you're going to learn, or someone's going to respect you so much more, because they're going to see, okay, well, hey, this guy's going to help me out. And then you're going to have a guy on your side.
Your value goes up.
Yeah. You talk about value. There's one thing that I want you to be aware of. And if it's the only damn thing you remember out of this is absolutely fine. Today we're in a credibility currency. And people's credibility is very, very weak. Go back to the Insta gurus. There's no substance. There's no credibility. You can't forfeit your credibility for a paycheck. You should never, ever do that. If you have to walk away from a deal because it's not right for you, your credibility increases. It's not a downside for you, and people will find and want to connect with you. So we're in a credibility currency. Focus on you and don't dilute you for the benefit of a paycheck.
It even makes you less confident. Like you'll feel like you're used. It's almost like I bought you something so you can be my friend feeling. Like it's almost like
it's like Eric buying me whiskey just so I fucking talk to him. Something as shallow as that, you know?
I know. He's like that. Never bought me fucking whiskey.
There you go. He's got to try.
I don't really drink whiskey, so that's probably why. But anyways, I got a couple of things. I did a coaching session this morning with another group, and there was a question about the mindset in January, okay? Eric, that's the best you got? Anyways, okay.
We waited for that.
I know.
That's not even worth reading off the prompter. All right. Work on your comebacks there, Eric.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's the thing. Right now in the real estate world, and I know a lot of other worlds, coming out of December, January, there seems to be a bit of a, if your mind is not in the game, if your heart's not in the game, I feel like it can be a challenge to get their head in the game. If you know what I mean by that? So I feel like I wanted to ask you, when you go down, how do you get yourself back in the game? Because if you say you're never down, I'm not going to believe you.
No, I told you at the beginning that I fail more than you guys. I fail constantly. I yearn to fail. And it can sometimes hit you. But here's the thing that I've learned from all of this failure that I've had. My greatest growth comes from my greatest failure. So every time shit happens and I lose money, I lose a deal, I try to produce a course that no one buys, I try to do a different speaking topic and it bums. Every time that happens, you get into a pity party. You get into that moment where you go, oh shit, I've just lost 50 grand. You know, am I going to... And then what you do is you go, okay. And I remembered this because my dad, and it's actually in my book. Has anyone read my book, by the way? Have any of you? Yeah, a couple of you have. Good. All right. Don't know what's wrong with the rest of you, but change that. My dad, not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he said to me once, no one ever drowned by falling in the water. They drowned by staying there. Now, at the age of 14 years old, I had no idea what the guy was going on about. And it stayed with me. And so every time I've fallen down, every time I'm in shit creek, and every time I'm wallowing in my own pity, I literally tell myself, all right, I've fallen in the water. Am I going to stay here? And that's when you turn around and you ask yourself the question, what did I do wrong here? And you turn the downside into an educational moment. And you learn from it. And you go, well, actually, the first part of that was going really well. In fact, the third part was really well, but I lost it in the second. It got shaky in the second, and that set me up for a fall in the fourth quarter. So those two elements were good. I've just learned these are good, repair these. So you find the educational moment in it. I've done that through flow charts. I've done that through contracts where I've lost money in contracts because I didn't pay attention to certain feeds in there. So whenever I'm down, and I get down, I get depressed, I try things, and I sit on the floor, and I wallow, and I go, all right, poor whiskey, what did I learn from this? What did I do wrong? Why am I here complaining? And you focus on an educational moment. You turn your downside into your education.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's like when you're winning, you're not learning. It's some of the biggest, like I always say, I always have this picture of when you're really down and you have this it's pressure and you can't see clearly. It always reminds me of being in an ocean and you feel like you're just getting crushed. The thing is though, that's where all the buried treasure is. So I always say, if you want to get the gift or the gold out of the hard situation, you lean into it. You don't try to escape it. And I think that's what you're saying, is that you just lean into, what do I learn? Because you're in that moment. You don't want to be there again. The emotional state, now is the time to take a look.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the other thing is, Steve, is we're getting close to the end of the time here. There's the link, guys, for his book.
Just helping you out.
Yeah, no worries.
It's $11 of genius. If you hate it,
$11
phone me up. I'll send you $11.
What kind of book's $11? Like, Is it
The
worth
best.
it? $11 is a good deal. What's that, James?
Talking American prices.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's like $2,500 for Canadians. So, yeah. There was another question here. I want to talk about. This is a really interesting. I've never talked to you about this. Is adjusting as you go. So when you go forward, and I wouldn't mean you're the same style. I'm moving forward. I'm taking a look. Moving forward, taking a look. I find that's the most efficient, fastest way to move forward is to move forward. But talk about how you've evolved in a way. Like you actually didn't just plan to be a concierge guy. You didn't plan to be a speaker. Tell me about your evolution on how you adjust, when you adjust. Give me the process there and how that works. Because a lot of guys have different things going on, and transition and adjusting along the way is really interesting to me.
Well, it's that adjustment which actually allows you to tune and to fine tune and to actually grab your greatest opportunities. And as I said to you again at the beginning of this, I'm not a forward thinker by 12 steps. I'm like 1 or 2 corners and that's it. 1 or 2 punches and that's it. So with me, if someone says, oh, do you do speeches? Yeah, I've done speeches before. Would you do our speech? Yeah, let me try it. I don't overthink things. I do. Now, a good friend of mine, Jay Abraham, says I have a greater I can than an IQ. So I will just try something. If the QR code, try it. What have you lost? Setting up a TikTok account. What have you lost? Doing a Facebook community. What have you lost? All of these things are low liability, but how many people at the end of this call are actually going to go and set up a TikTok account or set up a QR code? The bottom line of it is I can give you 50 million genius ideas.
Exactly.
But there are 50 million people that will just go, that's great, and then do bugger all with it. Yeah. I remember talking with JJ Virgin. She said to me, 90% of people that buy a diet book never diet. They think buying the book will solve the problem. And that's what we're in now. We need to be able to action things. Just try it. Fail, learn, try it again. So with me, I'm constantly reviewing what did I do wrong. And through that process, let me give you a little tip. How many of you out there do speaking gigs? No? All right, you do. All right. So I discovered that no speaker ever thanks the person that put the event on after the event. And here's one. And Ben, be honest with me. Tell me if you do this next step. Have you ever sent a gift to the sponsors of the event?
So the guy that's like the company that bought the signs, you mean?
So whenever you go to an event, there's always those people outside that have bought booths, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When have you ever sent a gift to all of those?
Smart.
Here's the thing. Those booths are at every bloody event. So what happens is you send them a book, you send them a little PDF, you send them a video, and you go, hey, I personally wanted to say thank you because I know without you buying a booth, the event couldn't go on.
Yeah.
So what happens? The next time there's an event and the event is speaking to people to sponsor it, they go, oh, are you having Steve Sims at this event? Because he was I have got 6 of my speeches this year out of those booth people. And you just look, I walked out and I thought to myself, every event is not paid for by the people in the seats. They're paid for the sponsorship and the administration and these people buying booths. Thank them and they become your front line of marketing. And that works. So that's what I do every single event now.
Yeah. So
I got those 3 events this year, this month. And I already asked for the people that are buying the booths so I could say thank you. We're going to have lined up a thank you gift, which would probably be my book, the one we spoke about, the greatest book for $11. We're going to send them a book and just say thank you for making this event possible. See what I get out of it.
So here, let's just stay for a second. Guys, do you know what remember we always talk about? The conversation behind our back is our brand. That's literally one of the best examples. Everything you do, you got to think, what's the conversations happening from this action that we just did? What's that conversation creating? James, why don't you tell Steve about your thank you marketing you just finished? I think it's worth worth a mention on this. This is being recorded, and I think it's so cool what you did. So,
you're talking about the appreciation?
the appreciation project you just did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, and it's still going on. We just stopped for over Christmas, but my wife is a teacher, and we have a family of teachers. And so what we've done is my wife is a foods teacher, so she bakes 800 cookies a month. And then we have actually, I'm going to do QR codes on this.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
Because, I mean, even if it's just it can say nothing on the back, you use the QR code and your information's in their phone now. They're going to remember, and you can do a video. But so every single school in the area, we go and do that. But then we branched it out, went on to Instagram and Facebook, and we asked for nominations from the community. And I literally just show up at people's businesses or their house with a plate of cookies that say, hey, thanks for being awesome. You were nominated by this person. And the response has been huge. So
That's
Yeah.
good.
Good. It's all about being appreciative, thankfulness. It's about the teachers are having no appreciation, especially in our community where James and I are in the same area. There's lots of cuts being done. And then during the cuts, he's out there giving cookies saying, I understand where you're at. And that's creating the conversation going, hey, James, that guy gave us cookies. Oh, he's that real estate agent that
That's
cares
the
about
thing.
teachers. It's not about saying, I'm number one, look at my bus bench. It's like, hey, I gave you some cookies because I know you guys are underappreciated. By the way, I've got some extra cookies. You want to nominate someone to win a plate of cookies? Now you got the social media going and the conversation's going. And that's why it's like very similar, right? It's coming at it through like just even how it's not like you can look at it two ways. Wow, what a strategic move, Steve, to get new deals. But the thing is, you were thinking of going, you know what? Those people are who pays me. Like it's very tricky because you can be a total douchebag style guy that's just looking for the next paycheck using psychology and strategy. But if you really think about those people paid you, that's how they got paid. If you can connect to that from an emotional place going, holy shit, these are the guys paying for everything. That is where I think the bridge happens from strategy to like a human connection. And if you really mean that, I think people are going to go, finally, we know we pay a ridiculous amount of money for that bugger to get $20,000, $30,000, and he thanked me.
Yeah.
Finally.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You've got to start marketing with impact. I think the cookies is perfect. That's a great example. I don't know how many of you follow me on Facebook and stuff, but did any of you see this picture that I posted up with my little woolly hat with a little pin on it?
Yeah, give away a free pin or something?
I put these little pins together. You see that little pin of my face?
Who the heck's that? Jeez.
I know. It's a tiny little metal pin, okay? And I think I got it from a company called My Studio or something. I just tried something different. Again, try things different. You got two choices as of today. You evolve or you repeat. That's your only choice. So I tried something different. These little enamel pins, I found out you can custom make them to your, there's Wizard Pin, My Studio. These ones come from My Studio. And I bought 300 pins. And the pins cost me, I think it was like about maybe $320 or something like that. Just fractionally over, a dollar a pin. All right. And my wife's like, why'd you buy all those pins? Why did you buy so many? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying something different. Maybe someone's going to want my face on them or something. Just before Christmas, and that me and Ben, we went to prison to look after a company called Defy Ventures that looks after inmates becoming entrepreneurs. I put these pins out. Now, of course, I've stuck it on a bulldog because, he's cuter than me. And I said, look, make a donation and I'll send you a pin. Not to me, to the Defy projects where people are trying to turn their life around. Make a donation. I don't care what the donation is, and I'll send you a pin. Okay? And that's what happened. People started donating. I found out yesterday, now we'd sent out, I think it was like about 90 pins. Most people we sent like 3 or 4 pins to. All right. We didn't just send them one, we sent 3 or 4. Why? Because I want people wearing my face. All right. So I sent out 3 or 4 pins. We found out yesterday we'd raised $2,700 on those pins. Defy then go and post me out on their Instagram that this entrepreneur back in this. And I don't know how many more followers I got from LinkedIn and from Twitter that actually came on, but I saw them and I wondered where it came from. And I asked one of them, hey, you know, how did you find me? Saw this posting on Defy. So don't tell me that that stuff doesn't work, and understand what you think you are is irrelevant. It's what everyone else is saying about you that is your brand.
Do you know what's good about your pin? It doesn't say Steve Sims. So,
No, it doesn't.
So what has to happen is the conversation has to happen.
Yep,
What the hell is that? Like,
Yeah.
that's why, like I'll teach the guys to roll out a red carpet when they get the keys. They do champagne. They do all kinds of things when they get their house. But the whole idea is to get the photo shoot of them standing on the red carpet with the sold sign. Not just the sold sign, not the face of the real estate agent, only them. And what happens is 3 months later, they get a magnet, not with the real estate agent's face, not with a phone number, nothing but a picture of them standing by their new house with the red carpet. So then when someone comes over, they sit there and say, what's this? Or they're going to see the other guy that sent the magnet with his face, and they're not going to talk about it because they already know it's an agent. And that's the same concept. The pin is not bad though. A pin with your face. I don't know. Agents might get a little too excited about that.
Well, that was just the face is a funny little logo that's kind of ended up working. Now, again, when we first came out with my brand, we actually focused on the fish.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who works for Disney actually drew that caricature. And I did one posting with that caricature, and everyone was like, oh, I like that. So guess what? Fuck the fish. Just that. So that's the thing about the tweaking. Get the other people to dictate what you actually do. The face now is on t-shirts, stickers. Now it's on pins. You know, God knows, I may put it on women's underwear later. I don't know. Just who knows?
You probably already have.
But who cares? The whole point is, don't allow other people to tell you what you can't do. Just quickly, if you'll allow me for a second, if any of you have ever seen any of my stuff that I send out, there's a company called rubberstamp.com, and you can send a logo in, and it gives you these rubber stamps. And I've got Bluefishes, and I've got my caricature face. Anytime I send anything, I stamp the crap out of these boxes so that they've got my logos all over it. Because when the logo lands at the office, it lands at the secretary, who then sends it up to the chairman's secretary. And each time it's going through, everyone's like, what the bloody hell is this? The amount of people I've got contacting me going, oh, I work at this company and I saw your box. Why allow everything to be inside the box? Why not promote on the outside? And here's the big thing. Why miss out on any opportunity to brand yourself? Why would you do it?
Well, and I like the cheapness of it, to be honest, because branding's expensive. It's a friggin' stamp, guys. Like you know me, I like bang for buck. Like if I can get a stamp to make you, like, let's find things that are smart. We're business people here. We don't need to, you know, everyone acts like they're so friggin' rich. Why not have a stamp and stamp something? Like it's anything like that's like the red carpet, $100, you got a red carpet. That can be used 100 times. The stamp, you know what I mean? So many guys go into buying a brand. You don't need to get creative, right?
Yeah, so there's another company called photostamp.com, which is actually postage stamps. And for a couple of cents more per stamp, you can actually put your photograph on there. So at Christmas, I'll have a picture of me holding on like a little baby Christmas tree. In the summer, I may have like this last summer, I had these stamps done and I had this really foo-foo cocktail with so many things coming out of the top as my stamp. And it's called photostamp.com, and it's so bloody cheap.
I love that. So
here you go, guys. Yeah. Look at that.
Those are stamps?
Those are my stamps.
That's cool, man.
Literally, people bought a book, and I just stamped the hell, and you can see there's like my face on there and the fish.
Yeah, there it is. And how big are these stamps? Like this?
Oh, you could buy them. I've got some that kind of like about 3/4 of an inch, and then I've got others that are 2 inch.
That's awesome.
And I think these ones, judging on there, those are the 2 inch ones.
So guys, what are we hearing here? Is try things. Like especially when it's a low risk. Like obviously you don't want to try 15, 20,000 things all the time. You'll go broke. But like, what's the risk in that? And when you don't care about what people think, you can be free to try 50,000 things and find out something that works. James, I see you writing notes. This is so up your alley, man. Guaranteed within, this guy's going to execute. He's going to have a stamp, a pin, a QR code. I'm not like you, right? Admit it.
I'll definitely have a QR code by the end of the day.
End of the day, this guy's good. But one interesting thing though, what you said is that you said, what did you say? Evolution, you
repeat or you evolve.
Okay, so here's an interesting thing. This guy from Africa talked to me. He was a super big time engineer, and he goes, there are tribes in Africa right now refusing to brush their teeth, to wear clothes. So what's happening is these tribes are going extinct. So I would say if you don't evolve, you go extinct.
100%.
You won't even, I'm just saying a different angle on it, but it's just interesting to think that these tribes are refusing to evolve. I think that's how we lose. That's Blockbuster to Netflix. Like how many stories? That's BlackBerry. That's, like all these different things that just refuse to evolve. I don't know why they don't, but I think we need to be actively moving forward at all times, actively trying things, being okay to fail. I think in the failure is where evolution is probably happening. What do you think?
So I'm a great believer in that. The world is moving at such a speed that even when you're standing still, you're going in reverse. So you have to keep up, evolve, get onto the next field. Here's a little game for you. How many of you go out and eat sushi food?
Yeah.
Sushi? Yeah, or Italian or something like this. What happens is the appetizer menu, you look at the menu and you pick the 2 or 3 things that you've always picked. This is a way of getting your headspace. And again, notice there are 2 things here, cheap, okay, and low liability. Get used to those things, okay? When you're in a restaurant, pick something off the menu which sounds the weirdest thing that you have no idea what it is. You can't say you don't like sheep's testicles unless you've tried them, all right? So
Dina just puked in her mouth. I saw it.
you've got to, if you get used to it. Now, my kids used to get aggravated by this and they'd be like, what's this? I don't know. Let's try it. My liability is it's $7 for this appetizer and it's something that I can't pronounce. Only after we've eaten it can we tell you whether or not we like it. Now, I've ate some disgusting appetizers. My kids are all now in the 20s. We go to a restaurant and they argue who's going to pick the appetizer that we've never chosen before.
Nice.
This gets your headspace going, oh, I'm ready to try something. It's like when I started going to prison and I take all the people to prison. Like the first time I took Ben, I got Ben in an incredibly uncomfortable position of which he grew and thrived from. So get used to trying things you don't normally do. Try the QR code, try the stamps, try this. And guess what? If it doesn't work for you or you don't feel comfortable or there's friction, stop doing it, okay? It ain't rocket science here, but you'll be amazed how much impact you can do when your mind says, I'm going to try something new and try it at something low liability. Don't say, hey, I'm going to try and sell that house by wearing swimming trunks. That's a big liability.
Unless that is truly you. And there's that's the only thing. You can do anything in this world. If you really own it and you're not try hard, if this is just who you are, I bet it's not about anything other than that. Like you can do anything in this world as long as it's truly yours, because you'll have a tribe. You'll find your tribe.
That's the thing. Find your tribe. You can only find your tribe by having continuity in your message, your voice, and clarity, and lack of confusion. That's the only time you'll ever get a tribe. That's why I am always drinking whiskey, riding motorcycles, and wearing a black t-shirt. Don't confuse your tribe.
Guys, I think our time is kind of coming to an end here. I know you guys all got busy things to do as well. Any last comments, questions that you want to say, or we're going to wrap it up here?
Have you ever worked with Elon Musk? Because there's a lot of parallels I've seen from what you've talked about to stuff I've read about him.
So I was walking through SpaceX with Elon, and I'd taken a couple of clients over because they wanted to meet Elon Musk. And as we're walking through, one of my clients was a little bit too eager to engage in a conversation with Elon Musk, and so was asking him some of basically the dumbest questions in the world. I'd always thought there was no such thing as a dumb question, but this guy proved me wrong. And he said something to Elon about, you know, how do you feel about now working with NASA when they used to actually kind of like openly ridicule what you were doing? Elon never even missed a step, never even looked at the client and said, they'll always laugh at you before they applaud. And that was the only thing he said to my client. And it was brilliant. Elon Musk is a very sharp, quirky, strange, effective man that does not give a flying rat's fart what you think. He cares about whether or not he can actually produce it. And I do these events called speakeasies, where I take a maximum of 40 people to somewhere, and you know nothing about who you're going to meet, what you're going to learn, or where you're going to end up. And I took 40 people to Reno back in August, and we started the morning by having a private tour by the COO of the Gigafactory in Reno about how they do things. So Elon, as far as I'm concerned, is one of today's real rock stars.
Yeah, at the very beginning, you said he doesn't care about what anyone else thinks, and I just went back to his Twitter thing when his stock was down at 360, and now it's at 450. So, because
he's just produced the ugliest truck known to mankind that openly on stage in front of millions had the rock go straight through the bulletproof glass. And, you know, did it faze him? Is it going to affect any of the car sales? No, because he'll realize what went wrong, and I guarantee he'll have fixed it.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Actually, it could be one of the most genius marketing moves he's done too. We never know.
Yeah. He did the guys.
Because that's what goes viral. That was the conversation created. It was almost better to smash the window.
Oh yeah, exactly. The guy is so effective, and he doesn't solve problems. He evaluates why the problem is there in the first place and then removes the problem rather than solving it. That's how he thinks. He always goes in and says, why is there a problem? Let's not try to find a better way to make a wheel. Try to work out why we need the wheel in the first place. That's how he works. And it's very interesting to hear from a man like that.
It's cool, man. Super cool. Yeah, I think you're in Vegas next for your event.
Yeah, my next speakeasy is in Vegas on the 20th and the 21st of February.
And we are there as a group on the 10th to the 13th. So if anyone wants to spend another week and jump in with Steve, sure tempting. Okay.
I guarantee you, you'll be in. The way that I always work is I'll put you in rooms that you've never been in and never would be able to be in your life, with people that you would never normally be able to interact with. That's why we only keep it to 40 people. We don't want speakers going up on stage telling you how brilliant they are and then pissing off. We want them to hang around and actually workshop with you and actually help you on your product. We did one in November in San Francisco. And again, none of our people, you never know where you're going. In the afternoon, we actually went into the ManyChat headquarters and actually had Mikhail, the founder of ManyChat, future billionaire, actually set up a ManyChat sequence on everybody's laptop. And seeing this guy going around people's laptops going, no, you don't want to be doing this. Let's do this. Let's just build this code in. You know, where can you get that? It's like, you know, Henry Ford picking your car. It was just insane. But that's the kind of stuff we get up to. So I promise you I won't disappoint in Vegas if you want to kick around for a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I got your back too, Steve. These guys are connected. They've watched most of the podcasts we've done, and yeah, man, I'm excited about being friends and having our relationship.
I appreciate you, pal. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you allowing me to kind of like chat away with your tribe. And I hope there's been stuff that you've been able to grab and just to try stuff, because if you don't try some of the stuff that we spoke about this morning, just wasted my time and yours, and that ain't smart.
Awesome, man. Okay, guys, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks, guys, for taking time out of your day as well. Now, knowledge is just potential power. Execution is where the power lies. So you got to do something with it, or else it's just sitting there listening, which is fun too, to be honest. But let's get something done. Okay, guys, cheers. Have a good one.
See ya.